What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here. I've been getting some questions about what my loadout will be for the day one raid, so I decided to just make a quick video showcasing some of the things that I'm bringing into Vow of the Disciple today. So I will be on Warlock, though I can flex and move to Hunter if needed. We have one Hunter, two Titans, and three Warlocks, so that's going to be our team composition going into the raid. Anyways, what I plan on going in with on the first encounter and probably sticking with through most of the encounters, because we have three Warlocks, I might not have to run Well of Radiance, so Phoenix Protocol or Lunafaction boots. So ideally, I'll be able to play Void 3.0 for the whole day, and here's my build. Obviously, Healing Rifts, I run Strafe Glide, Pocket Singularity. Vortex Grenades are absolutely amazing this season, I don't need to tell you that, but I will be pairing that with Chaos Accelerant, so I can overcharge my grenades, and I am maining Controverse Holds so that I can get my Void grenades back very constantly. And then I also have Feed the Void, so I will be activating Devour, which will help me stay alive, and as I get kills with Devour active, it's going to be feeding into that grenade recharge. So Child of the Old Gods is really good, and there may be some encounters where I would switch off. I'm always going to have Chaos Accelerant on, but to start, I'm going with Feed the Void. It's basically like having top tree and bottom tree combined now, and I've just been finding it to be super strong. For fragments, I run Echo of Remnants, where your lingering grenade effects last longer. This is actually really good, especially if you're running Overload Grenade, which I always will be. I know they fixed Overload Auto and SMG, but I still really like my Void Grenades for stunning Overload champions, and this just helps with that. It applies debuffs longer because I am running Echo of Undermining, so my Void Grenades give a 15% debuff to enemies. This is obviously really awesome, and I have huge uptime on my grenades, so I'll be debuffing tons of enemies. And then the last thing I run is Echo of Expulsion. Void ability Final Blows cause targets to explode. I'm not super tied to this fragment, and in the future I would probably use this build with Echo of Instability to grant volatile rounds to my Void weapons. I find that easier than picking up a Void Elemental Well personally, but for now this is what I'll be running. And it also is loadout dependent. It depends if I'm running Void weapons, and that's all dependent on the shields we run into. But before I get to my weapons, I'm just going to go over my helmets and all my armor, really. So this is the main setup I have. I only have 40 resilience, unfortunately. I would like 50. 50 is kind of the sweet spot in GMs for surviving certain attacks. And the Scorn crossbow is definitely a killer. So we'll see how I match up with contest mode on. But anyways, here's what I'm taking in for the first encounter. I've got Rocket Launcher Ammo Finder, Kinetic Siphon, and Taking Charge. You'll see why in a second. Kinetic Siphon will allow my Wither Horde to make orbs. Wither Horde's obviously awesome for making orbs. On the gloves, I'll have Unstoppable Pulse Rifle. And then Bolstering Detonation grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade, so I'm just feeding my Healing Rift. And then Elemental Ordnance to make Void Wells when I get grenade kills. On the chest, I'm very lucky to have this chest piece because it is Artifice Armor, so I can actually run a Discipline mod, Sniper Damage Resistance because I already talked about the Scorn crossbows, Void Damage Resistance for the same reason, those crossbows are void. And then I can also run Thermal Shock Plating because it's on the Artifact mod, and this is Artifice Armor. So this chest piece is awesome for survivability. And then I have Elemental Charge. On my legs, I have Rocket Launcher Scavenger just to have more rockets, obviously. I'm running Innervation, but Recuperation replenishes health each time you pick up an orb. That might actually be better to run. So one of these two, either get grenade cooldown for picking up orbs or recuperation. And then Argent Ordnance, while charged with light, readying or firing a rocket launcher grants it increased damage and reload speed. The reload speed is really nice, and then damaging a combatant with a rocket consumes one stack. So this will give me a 20% buff to my rockets. That might not sound significant, but if I am running this explosive light with tracking And then we have Argent Ordnance. That will do a lot of damage to overload captains because the whole idea is to kill those captains in one stun. I also have this roll with Clown Cartridge, which I also may use. Oh, and one thing that is underrated and not really talked about with Argent Ordnance is that part where it talks about the reload speed. That increased reload speed is actually pretty noticeable, and it will help you even if you do just have a single shot rocket like this one. It will help you get 2 off in that single stun. So really just depending on the encounter. I also have field prep and impact casing if we're in a damage phase, but I run this for the reload speed and then tracking so that I'm not missing my target. And then I can fire off 2 rockets to hopefully get like unstoppables or overload chieftains in one stun. But again, explosive light will do more damage. So yeah, it's really scenario dependent. But I'm taking all these rockets in. This one is for DPS if we can make Void Wells before the DPS phase, because I could run Font of Might, which will give my Void rocket launcher a 25% damage boost. And then it's obviously got Clown Cartridge, so that will be the best DPS. And it intrinsically has tracking. So I know it doesn't hit quite as hard as this frame, but the precision frame will always hit, and it's better to sacrifice a bit of damage and make sure you're always hitting your rockets. And then on the Bond, I have Lucent Finisher set up in case I need it, Volatile Flow depending what I'm running for weapons, and Overload Grenades. Or I have this for survivability if I'm making wells, because I can pick up Well of Tenacity, and that will reduce incoming damage by 50%. And then obviously Lucent Finisher and Overload Grenades, but I could also change this to Devouring Depths if I wanted, and then throw on Perpetuation to reduce my cooldown on my class ability. So I could just go like that if I want. And then I have a third Bond, and this will be the one I'm actually running when we head in. I have Bomber, so every time I cast my Rift, I'm getting some grenade energy back. I have Overload Grenades again for stunning the overloads. Devouring Depths just because I can pick something and it suits the best. And then Blast Radius because I'm going to be getting kills with Wither Horde and with the Hothead. That will allow me to pretty much always have Argent Ordnance going on. And if I'm getting lots of kills with the Wither Horde and my teammates are casting supers, I'll be picking up Orbs of Power, which will activate Taking Charge, and Explosive Light if I'm running that. So it all just synergizes really well together. The reason I'm going in with this specific loadout is obviously this is Arc. I've got Void covered with my grenades. And then I've got this Ogma PR6. I got a total god roll here with Demolitionist Adrenaline Junkie. It's not a perfect roll. I probably wouldn't want steady rounds. I'd probably prefer Flared Magwell. But anyways, the big thing is Demolitionist Adrenaline Junkie. So I can obviously proc ×5 Adrenaline Junkie with a grenade kill. And then as I'm getting kills with that weapon, I'm just giving myself more grenade energy. And it's covering solar shields. If there's not solar shields, I ran the Lost Sector today and we needed Arc. So I have my Darkest Before ready to go. And if I'm really speccing into Void, then I could run Grid Skipper and this auto-loading Cluster Bomb Royal Entry. And I could run the Volatile Flow setup. So like I said, it really depends on what the encounters are asking us to do. But this right here will be my setup for when I head in. Like I said, I've got the good damage resistance. I've got good damage output with my rockets, Rocket Finder and Scavenger, so that I'm hopefully not running out of rockets. I could run Lucent Finisher if I have to. Everything just synergizes really well. My stat splits are nice. I'll have lots of rifts, lots of grenades, fair amount of supers. And like I said, if I am dying to Scorn Crossbows, but I can survive it at 50 resilience, then what I will do is take out this mod and put resilience, and I'll just run 90 recov and 50 resilience. So that's pretty much it for the build. A couple other things I'll go over is I've got helmets, so I don't know, say there was a ton of solar shields or whatever and I wanted to be making orbs. I've got Solar Siphon and I keep that 100 140, and then I've got Arc and the same way I could run arc siphon, even though I don't have that set up right now. But anyways, I always keep that 100, 100, 40. And again, I could always just drop the recov here and go up to 50. So I'm very prepared in that regard. And then for weapons, I already did a video on this, so I'm not going to go too in depth on it, but this is like for unstoppable hand cannon, for unstoppable abominations. I've got unstoppable pulse already because I'm expecting I'll be running a lot more pulse rifles than something like an SMG. Everyone is really on about funnel web, but in day one raids, you probably want to keep some distance between you and the enemy. But again, it really depends on encounter design. I got this sniper rifle just today, which will be awesome if snipers are a meta for a DPS phase, because if we can proc Font of Might off a boss and I can make Void Wells and proc Volatile Flow with Firing Line and 4th times the charm, I actually have a backup mag, because without it you go down to 5, so you can get more shots off. If it's a really, well, not a really long DPS phase, but basically backup mag would be better for just getting more shots off, where you would run boss spec if you know you're going to be reloading. I've got auto loading rockets. I could shoot in between and reload cancel, all that kind of stuff. So this is a really good sniper. This is another good sniper. This is for dealing with shields. This is for locking down areas. If our hunter ran renewal grasps, augers would be really good for him. I don't know if I'm really going to run this. I do have my Ozymancies, and I could maybe run stasis if I have to, but yeah, we'll see. So anyways, that's what I'm taking into the raid. Like I said, I've got Phoenix and Lunafactions, Boots of the Assembler, Geomags, all that kind of stuff ready to go. Dawn Chorus. I've got builds ready, but this is pretty much a setup I expect to be running the most throughout the raid. So anyways, I'm going to wrap the video up. I just wanted to show that because lots of people have been asking me. If you enjoyed it, then a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. And if you watched all this, then I thank you so much for listening to me ramble. Enjoy the day one race. It's not often that these days come along, whether you're just spectating or you're partaking. I wish you luck, and I hope you have an awesome day, either watching or playing. I am super excited. This is the first time I've been able to play with all the guys that I normally play with. So I expect, I honestly think we'll do pretty good. So I'm really looking forward to it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Take care.